In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, it is a great joy to meet you once again through this End Time Events program. The world is continuing to move toward a very, very bad place. Behind everything that we see, that is whether it is politically or in terms of politics, the world's political situation is moving toward a very bad place. If you look at the economy, it's continuously heading into a very great decline. Look at the climate, it's moving into an even worse condition than this. Throughout the world, everything is displaying its own distortion in one way or another. Even today, those are the three important matters that we are going to look at. First of all, as we always look at the Israel-US-Iran conflict, if you look at that, we are seeing in this between Iran and the US, everything seems to be coming together. But it comes close and then goes away. It comes close and then goes away. They keep saying there is some reason for it. But if you look at it overall, they all come and stand on one central point, that the reason for everything is Israel. That is, they said the Israel's opposition or Israel's intervention is the reason for this. Now, if you ask what even Iran's chief commander has said, he has said everything between us and the US is at a point where it can be settled peacefully. But Israel is doing everything to spoil this. Secondly, if you ask how the US look at the same matter, they are looking at it within the intention of somehow bringing it to an end. If you ask what the reason is, it is because the US is facing a great economic decline and the world is also facing it. So they are also looking for a way to somehow bring this to an end. Now, when we look at how this is progressing from Israel's side, because we have already seen it from Iran's side and from the US side as well, what is Israel saying? Israel says, why did you start this war? You said that Iran had uranium enrichment. Now you are saying it does not. Given conclusion regarding that, not only that, the agreement that you are about to make now will once again make Iran into a very powerful nation that will make a threat to the Middle Eastern countries that are there. If you ask to what extent is true, there are many Arab countries that are themselves against Iran. They do not accept it. That is part of the geopolitics among them. Let us leave that aside. But Lebanon, which supports Iran, that is Hezbollah, is there. The Houthis in Yemen are there. So all of them have been placed into a terrorist list. Just now Saudi Arabia has removed Hezbollah in Lebanon from the terrorist list. Until now, it was on the list. So whatever groups they call terrorist organizations, Iran had been supporting all of them. So this is what Israel is saying. They say that Iran is supporting such terrorist group. They say that tomorrow they will do something even bigger than this. Now we have asked where all this will end. It will end only in war. But it is continuing to move into some kind of major confusion. In the midst of this, what the Israel Prime Minister has said is a very important statement. Everyone looks at it the way that is the US that is giving an all support to the Israel. When you look at it, even the practical reality is that like that. But even in the previous program, we said that a very big rift has been developing between Israel and the US. Likewise, Trump kept speaking against Israel and the Israeli Prime Minister kept speaking against Trump. It kept going like that. Now as the climax or as a conclusion of that, the Israeli Prime Minister has said something. If you ask what he has said, we are not surviving because of the US economy. What they give, we use for our good projects. But we ourselves take care of our country's economy. We can sustain ourselves without the US economy. That is what he has said. He has also said another word, we don't want it. He has come to the point of saying we do not need it. Now this is a kind of, if you ask how many years this friendship has existed, it has been nearly 70 to 80 years. The same friendship also exists between Europe and the US. There too, the problem has now risen. If we observe everything now, on one side Israel is being isolated, the other side US is being isolated. All this is going to be led to the formation of a new superpower, and that we will be superpower against Israel. So far now, this is the next stage in the Israel-US-Iran conflict. As updates come, we will inform you about all of them. If it is the Lord's will and if its coming is delayed, next we are going to look at another very important matter, one that is shaking the whole of Europe. Now, if you look at what the temperature is like in every part of Europe, that is, in all the countries of Europe, it is crossing 40 degrees Celsius and 45 degrees Celsius. A temperature of 40 degrees Celsius to 45 may sometimes be normal for us, although even for us it is very hot. We have what is called Qatari summer, which comes during the month of May. That is when we reach around 38 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. Suppose we say that only in the last 10 years or so we have been crossing 40 degrees Celsius. If you ask whether temperatures of 40 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius are normally found, they are found in deserts like Saudi Arabia. The temperature of 48 degrees Celsius or 49 degrees Celsius occur. Now Europe is crossing 45 degrees Celsius. They are simply unable to bear this heat. Why are they unable to bear it? Because during the summer they are usually within about 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. During the rest of the year they are around 1, 2 or 3 degrees Celsius. Sometimes they are even to go below zero. That is normal for them. That is how they have been accustomed to live for their generations. Now the world is heading toward very great global warming. We have been saying this since 2012. Now we have reached the peak of global warming. Even at the 215 Paris meeting, they spoke about somehow escaping from this global warming, but none of that happened. If we say that even the benchmark they themselves set as a big crossed, then the world is passing through an extremely great level of heat. Now Europe has reached the kind of climate that India has, like that Africa has, and like the climate and found in the Middle East and desert countries. Now think about our own situation. How El Nino has arrived. Among all these years since 1901, that is since 1901, when the 20th century began, during these 126 years, this past June has been 5th driest June on record. Now they are saying that July will be 94% drier than that. They say that the peak of this will be in August. That is the heat associated with El Nino. The El Nino heat comes during a certain period. It comes once every 10 years. That is what we say is now reaching its peak. But naturally the earth is becoming hotter. It is that heat which you are becoming unable to bear. Now if you look at the Europe, a very big mistake is taking place. But there is no other way. It is a mistake that cannot be prevented. If you ask what is it, you would have seen those videos. You would have seen people running as soon as stores open and buying refrigerators, air conditioners, fans and everything else. Now what do you think is going to happen? To cope with this summer heat, what they are doing is installing air conditioners in every house. I think you know this. Air conditioners are a major cause of global warming. Now the more keep installing them, the more the heat will increase. The house will be cool. But as far as they are concerned, the house will be cool only temporarily. Meanwhile, outside the earth will be continue getting hotter. Now think about it. Suppose there is a city with 50,000 houses that previously had no air conditions. The moment air conditioners are installed, the additional heat from 50,000 air conditioners is going to be produced. If you think about it naturally and normally, you will understand. In the coming years, we are heading toward much worse global warming. The earth is coming to a place where it is burning. Read 2nd epistle of Peter chapter 3 verses 10. The day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. The heavens will pass away with a great noise, and the elements will melt with fervent heat. If you look at this particular phase, now things have started melting in Europe. Many things from tires, tar, roads, traffic posts, everything is melting. When this verse was written, if you said it was nearly 2000 years ago or about 1900 years ago, there would have been nothing like this that could melt. Later on 1950s, scientists doing research said, how can the elements melt? Now this happened. They said the earth is made of rocks, it cannot melt. But even rocks melt, you would have seen some volcanoes. Thus rocks melt to a molten material and that comes out. After that it becomes rock again. They call it lava. Suppose that molten lava later becomes rock, but at how the words the elements will melt are being fulfilled exactly. Streets and buildings have begun to melt. After that it says they will melt with fervent heat and be burned up. That is what is yet to be happen. Even if this worldwide El Nino comes to an end, do not think that its effects will be end immediately. It will bring about a great change and that will lead into a famine. But think about this matter of burning. One side there is a global warming, the other side there is a heat of El Nino. Both are there. Beyond this, wars are also taking place. There is a weapon with Russia used 2 months ago. The whole world become afraid after seeing it. Some even say that only after that Trump become quiet. They also say that Europe become afraid. He used that a hypersonic weapon. So if you look at all this, it is burning the earth. All these people with their intelligence are only doing the work of burning the earth. So all these things together are moving directly towards the 2nd epistle of Peter chapter 3 verses 10. Once again, this warning is being given to you. In the days of Noah, the world is destroyed by water. It will not be destroyed by water again. It will be destroyed by fire. That is what John says. The earth has been reserved for fire. We are beginning to come to the peak of that stage. Times that are coming may be our time, or it may be the time of the next generation. The Lord's coming is delayed. Next generation may face something even worse. So before our eyes, all these signs must be take place before the coming of the Lord are happening preciously. The signs of the end of the world are taking place. Not the end of the world, but the end of the world. Along this, look at another very important matter that has been added. If you look at the days of Noah, we read in chapter 7, verse 11, the water came from heaven, water came from the earth. That is in the book of Genesis we read. In the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 17th day of the 2nd month, on the day of all the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of heaven were opened. Until now, everything we have looked at has been fire coming from the earth. At that time, water came from heaven and from the earth. Instead that, now fire must come from heaven and from the earth. Right now, we are already struggling because of the fire coming from the earth. If you observe carefully, 2 days before before recording this until yesterday program on June 30th, NASA released a report. A very large X1 class solar flare, an explosion related to the solar storm occurred. If we ask what an X1 flare is, these solar explosions occur on the sun. We classify them somewhat like earthquake magnitudes. They are divided into three categories. They call them C, M and X. The C level is the basic level. It does not have much effect on us. It simply erupts. The M level is the moderate level. If you ask what it does, we have radio frequencies, don't we? Our satellites are up there. Some, when out occurs, they are affected. The X level strikes the earth itself. It strikes the earth and causes very great changes and destruction of the earth. There are 9 levels. Within the level, there are X1, X2, X3 and so on. Now X1 level had been occurred. They say this is a very major level for radioactive activities. They said it is strong enough to affect radio communications. Now the fire from heaven is ready. The fire from the earth is also ready. A similar solar storm occurred in 2012. Generally, they say that solar storms occur once every 11 years in a repeating cycle. But now it is not like that. It has occurred in 2022 and 23. Now it has been happened again. They said something even bigger is going to come. So we are looking toward a very important conclusion. Just as in the days of Noah, one era came to an end and the life again existing on the earth. In the same way, we are moving toward another conclusion. Scientists also agree that such things will happen. Now that is exactly where we are heading. If it is the Lord's will and it is coming is delayed, next week we will let you know all the updates on what has happened regarding these things. Please pray for us. We are praying for you. God bless you.